Good morning, everyone. So happy to be back here at Bellworks in Homedale, New Jersey today. It's our third episode. Really excited, busy month for us. We're preparing for the Mom with Moms Halloween Spooktacular later this month on Sunday, October 30th. So beautiful day. October is really, we had some crappy weather last week that was windy and rainy, but this week has been beautiful, fall, crisp, really nice air. Our guest today is Tania from Majestic Exteriors LLC. Welcome, Tania. So nice to have you today.
Thank you, Kate. Good to be here.
Good. So really excited to meet you. I know we've been working a little bit together on Mom with Moms, and I've been in communication with some of your staff who have been wonderful, but it's really been, really nice to learn about who you are and the business that you have in our community and what you've built over the years. So tell me, you said you're Monmouth County mom.
I am.
Where do you live?
Colts Neck.
Very nice. My husband grew up there in Colts Neck. Beautiful. I love that it's so quaint and quiet, and it's a big town. Is it a big town? I don't know. It's not.
It's a small town.
It appears to be big.
Everybody knows each other.
Okay.
It's quiet. It's peaceful. I enjoy it.
Yeah, it is very nice. He always says that we ultimately will possibly move up back to Colts Neck where he grew up. So we love Huddy's, and we love that little town square there, and obviously Delicious Orchards is Colts Neck, right? Yeah,
it is.
It is. Yeah. So we spend a lot of time there. We live right down in Aberdeen, right down 34, so it's not too far from us. Very nice.
Well, it's a little difficult to travel on 34 now during the season because Delicious Orchards is just...
It's taken on a life of its own. Yeah, I know they have to hire the cops, I guess, to direct traffic and everything. So
they do. It's needed, yes.
Yeah, it's very, that time, that's right. Like sometimes when you're trying to get down there, especially even like during the beach times, we'll take 34 down to get down to Seagirt, and it gets very crowded. So you've been in Colts Neck for how long?
Probably 12 years.
Oh, okay. Nice. And do you have kids?
I do, too.
How old are they?
21, and Emily's going to be 20 next week.
Oh, nice. Are they in school or they work?
No, my son, rather just before the pandemic, he was in Colts Neck High School, and he was a senior graduating, and he said to me, "Mom, I don't want to go to college."
Yeah.
I said, "No." I said, "Well, then get in the truck because you're going to learn a trade." I told them.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay." And I said, "Yeah." And he's been working with us now ever since, doing well. And college isn't for everybody.
No. We should do a separate episode just on that. My son always struggled in school. Was just not. He didn't love school.
He didn't love it, right?
And by senior year, I said, I couldn't even deal with all of it. I just wanted him to be, graduated, and it's been his choice to actually go to continue his education. But I did not push it, and I feel as though, I keep telling him life isn't cheap, my friend. So, you got to set yourself up for success, and some, like you said, sometimes college isn't for everyone. And graduating with a mound of debt and no plan for how you're going to, afford this life that we live in, this crazy life. So I love that. I think that's good.
Ultimately, I would like him to inherit the business, so he has to learn from somewhere.
Right.
And that's the bottom, which is he picks up debris, payments, puts signs on lawns, contracts, things like that.
Okay.
Kind of like the runner, like on the low end of the totem pole.
Right.
But that's fine because it's how they learn.
Yeah, no, that's great. What needs to be done today, right?
That's every day he has a list. Yes.
Oh, okay. I love that. And your daughter?
Different. She's a princess.
Okay.
Okay. She's in UMiami University.
Wow.
She's a sophomore. Sophomore. And
it's a great school.
It is a great school. I was there this past weekend for Parents' Weekend. That was fun. That's the first tailgate frat party I ever went to. And she lives on a little different lifestyle, you know. But she says to me, "Mommy, if it doesn't work out after college, can I come work for you?" I said, please try to make it work. With the amount of tuition, please, I said. But no, she's actually doing very, very well.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a great school. But, obviously she has options, right? What does she have like a major that she's passionate about or?
Biology.
Oh, okay. That's great. Yeah, I think that's a big pre-med school, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I thought so.
It is.
So when they were growing up, they grew up in Monmouth County.
They did.
And they went to Colts Neck High?
Nicholas did, and Emily went to Ranny School. She was a lifer from Ranny School. Nice school, great school.
Yeah.
Just it's a little, how do I explain it?
Well, it's not for everyone. I think
not
that's
for everybody.
Yeah, but that's it's a great school.
She did get a very good education
Exactly,
from there.
right.
I'm going to say that. But yeah, no, Nicholas went to Ranny for a little bit, and he was like, "No, this isn't for me."
Right. Yeah.
It
I think that's what a lot of moms say about
he
like
felt it
different
was too
private schools.
challenging. So
Right.
I said, "Okay."
Yeah. But if you're the academic type and you want my daughter has that mindset. She's like very goal oriented. She's 7, but like you can tell that she I never have to worry about her doing her homework and stuff like that. I check it, but I know that it's done. And my son, it was like a complete opposite. So it's funny how different they can be, right?
Very.
It's different. Same house, different personalities. So what did you like to do with them when they were growing up in the area?
Typically went on a lot of vacations because it was like the only way that, the company that I run is very high-strung, hectic, demanding. So basically the only way to de-stress is to get out of the area,
Okay.
town, country, go on a vacation somewhere.
Right.
And
Unplug, right.
unplug, and we did this, typically every holiday or spring break, or definitely 2 weeks in the summertime. So we go on vacation a lot to Caribbean destinations, Aruba, stuff like that.
Very nice. Is Aruba? I've never been to. Everyone says it's windy. Is it? Is it really?
It is, but
Like-
you like it and you need it on the beach because you just feel cool all the time, like pleasantly cool.
Okay.
And it's not oppressive.
Oh, it's not. Okay, because I can't when it's windy, it just annoys
It's
me.
not that type
It's
of
not
wind.
annoying.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's a nice cool breeze on the beach, and you welcome it.
Because it's just so hot otherwise.
Yes.
Right. Interesting. I'll have to make a trip.
Definitely, it's the happy island.
Yeah. So you touched a little bit on your company, Majestic Exteriors LLC. Tell me, how did you get into that?
I married a roofer.
Okay. And how long have you had the company?
28 years.
Wow.
29. Yeah.
Serving Monmouth County only, or?
No. We service Monmouth, Mercer, Middlesex, Somerset, Ocean County. We used to do a lot more, and then the traveling was a little too much, so we kind of kept it to these areas here. But
Got it.
Monmouth County, definitely, where our home base has always been.
And what was your background before that?
I went to college for about 2 years. I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, as
Oh,
a matter
wow.
of fact. I've been here a long time now. Some people sense a little accent
Okay.
on me sometimes. But I went to college for business, and then we got married and just started from nothing.
You met in college, or?
No, we met. He was a waiter at a restaurant in New York City, and I was traveling.
Okay.
And we got married pretty quickly,
Oh, okay.
actually. And I remember I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do for money? And he's like, well, I know how to do roofs. And I said, great, what's a roof? Like, I didn't even know. I was 21 years old, 22 years old.
Right.
And I remember we were sitting at a Wendy's restaurant and had maybe like $100 in our pocket. And somebody called on his cell phone and said, yeah, my friend needs a roof done. And he was like, I'll be right there.
Yes.
And we were there the next day, and took us about a week to do the roof. I mean, he shingled the roof, and I stripped the roof and cleaned the garbage back and forth. It was, oh my God, exhausting.
Yeah.
Then I remember a fellow came down the road and he said, Sonny, he said, I need an estimate for my roof. Can you price mine? And it just started from there.
Yeah, it's all word of mouth, right? In the beginning, right?
In the beginning.
It's a lot of,
In the beginning.
And then in the, the colder months, it's, so my husband, not anymore, but for about 6 years, he had a painting company. And when we first met, so it was a very kind of similar situation. He had actually just retired from from MLB. He played professional baseball for a long time. So
oh, wow.
It was amazing, but at the same time, when you're not playing anymore, he had spent, years and years and years playing, so he didn't have any other really, traditional work experience. So on the off season, he had learned how to paint with his uncle. So he knew how to paint. So we had just met, and I said, what are we going to do? And he had just started like set up an LLC, but it was very much like, just trying to find,
and
someone
learn it as you go.
Yes, right.
Learn it
right,
as you go.
Right. So, I just remember those winters being like, calling builders and finding out, who might need, any subcontracting done and all of it. So it's definitely not for the faint of heart. It's a lot of work.
You're just figuring it out as it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've been through every trial and tribulation that can happen with a roof before, during, and after. Like
Yes.
anything and everything that could possibly happen has happened. So you learn it, you figure it out, you master it, and you know what to do to make sure the issue doesn't happen again.
Right.
So
you started with roofs, and then when did it evolve into additional services and exterior?
Probably like 10 years later. People would say all the time, do you do siding? Do you do windows? Like, no. And I started to say to myself, why? Why don't we do this?
Right.
And I just took it on and again learned it as we went along.
Right.
And it just got bigger and bigger and more. And a roof is simple, but when it comes to redesigning your house, a lot of people need direction. They see something that they like, the black and white house or the pretty this or whatever, but they can't put it together, So that's where I think I really, really excelled in the company. People call me a designer, and I'm not, but I think I am now. I guess I am, and I kind of enjoy it, and I do. I participate with them significantly in their choices and to help direct them on how to make their house look different than everybody else's.
Okay.
In their budget.
Right. And that's so important too. I think, for me, hiring any type of contractor, it's a little bit like overwhelming, right? That just even like the process of going into it, not only finding someone that you can trust, right? Because there's a lot of, contractors out there that don't, that have ruined it, I'm sure, for the better ones. But also, just like you said, like, picking out the right one. And it's such a big investment and like really, kind of trying to understand even, what supplies that you're working with and, whether or not they're good quality and all of that. So it's, it's not just, as simple as it may look, right?
And so I'm not that typical like salesperson, pushy, aggressive. I absolutely not. I will come meet with you. I will understand everything that you want, the full scope of work. I will make suggestions or provide my input, and I'll prepare a whole proposal, separate it, a la carte, whatever, and then I will call you once, and if you are not interested or you're not ready, that's okay. Like I have that sort of mentality where it's a lot to digest, and when you're ready, I tell them, call me, text me, make a time, meet me in the Colts Neck showroom so we can sit down and go over everything. I'll print out all the pictures. We can pair colors in the showroom or take a drive together and look at houses. I do that.
Wow.
Yeah, I do that. I mean, it's important that, people see, visualize, but it's gotten to the point where in certain towns that, on any given week, I'm definitely doing some type of job in their town, and they see it. They'll see the sign on the lawn, or they'll recognize the trucks, or even people been saying to me a lot, I know Tania did that house. And it's like, well, how did you know? Well, because it's got certain signature details on it that
wow.
I know Tania does on her houses.
Oh,
So, which is nice. I like that.
I love
I like
that.
to hear that,
Yes.
you know. Yeah, so it's really grown in some town, like Middletown, Lincroft, Homedale, Titten Falls, great town.
yes.
Great
Beautiful.
town. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Red Bank, Shrewsbury. There's three houses going on today.
Red Bank, there's been a lot of houses being flipped, I've noticed too. Or not even flipped, but, maybe purchased and just really completely, redone.
Yeah, and a lot of different Red Bank. Yes, okay, I'll give you that. Red Bank has had a lot of that. I don't really focus on that type of new construction style. Put blue siding and leave.
Okay.
Because it's all about the trim and the detail. That's what makes it on a house.
Interesting.
It's all about the trim and the detail. It's not about expensive siding or adding stone or things like that. And I try and push the front entry door. You got to have a front entry door, And the husband and the wife's like, I told you. And he's like, well, you can have your man cave.
Right.
Let her have her front door. Stop.
Yeah.
This is the focal point of your house.
I agree. I love
So we have these
beautiful
type
door.
of conversations with people, and it gets fun.
Oh, that is fun. I love that. Mm-hmm. So your children grew up in this business.
But yeah, they did.
And what was that like? Did you just constantly have them on jobs and just running around with?
No. So I was lucky that I had my mother live with us. So she took care of the homestead because, I'm out at a job site at 7:30, and there were many, many nights I don't get home till 8 p.m.
Right.
Until everything's all said and done and everybody has their work orders for the next day. So, I tried as much as I can, Sundays, Saturday afternoons, to go be with them, or in the evenings, taking them to karate or dance or something like that. And then we had Sandy. Do you remember her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, between October 29th, 2012, when that storm hit, to probably May of 2013, I didn't see them for months.
Wow.
It was insane. It was crazy. You couldn't even pull up at a ShopRite and be attacked or mobbed by people. Hey, can you fix my roof? Or I have a tree that fell in my living room or something like that,
Yes.
And they would just swarm the truck. So
Wow.
a lot of times on the weekends the kids were with me or not, and it was just like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, especially always around storms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that must be, I've had these conversations a lot with moms who are entrepreneurs or maybe working professionals, and they work a lot, and a lot of them struggle with that guilt of like just not being as present.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also spoken to a lot of moms who have like grown children, right? They're maybe in their 20s and 30s, and the children always say that they have so much admiration for like the work that their parents, did, and that, the life that they were able to, afford to give them, and the lessons. And it's not just about, obviously like having, to be able to afford nicer vacations or to have a certain lifestyle, but it's also about like the lessons that they learned, that it's not for, it's not easy, right? What you're doing, it's not.
So they learned that mostly in the last few years as they were older and more perceptive. Like we would go to a restaurant or even in Aruba, like the last time we were there, on the beach, people came up to us and they were like, Tania? And I'm like, yeah. Oh, hi, it's Fran. You did my house, and they keep hearing this all the time. And they're like, oh. So I guess, my mother does do cool things.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And then they started to piece it and put it together.
Right. No, that's amazing. I love that story. It's so funny. You never know who you're going to run into, right?
Always, especially in restaurants.
Yes, I agree. I'm starting to get a little bit of that, but yeah, sometimes it's like I can't go to Costco looking like I just got out of bed. So Majestic Exteriors now is, I see the trucks everywhere. I see signs. It's incredible because, like I said, we had a little taste of what it was like to be, in that world of being, a subcontractor, contractor essentially. And you've built an incredible business. So you offer exterior work, you do roofing, you do siding.
Roofing, siding, windows, doors, stucco, stone, soffit, fascia, gutter, trim, rails, decking, pavers. Yes.
Pavers, okay. And we talked a little bit about this earlier, but what is it like right now in the state of, the crazy real estate market, the supply chain issues? What are you seeing, to be the biggest challenges for your customers?
Pricing. Pricing right now is...
inflation is...
It is, and it's hit everywhere. And I saw this from about a year ago where people would say, Tanya, I love you, but can we just hold on a little bit? And I'm like, yeah, we can hold on for a little bit. We'll hold on as long as you need to. We had 7, 8 price increases throughout the board in vinyl siding, windows, roofing last year was down to 2 colors, black or black. So,
wow.
Like doing someone's whole transition of siding, windows, it was like in the $30,000 number, and now it's just 30% more. It just is, and it has to be.
Wow.
When this was all starting and happening, with these price increases, they weren't even informing us. And here I am, someone would say, hey, Tanya, I'm ready to do the job. And I gave him a quote in 2018. And I was like, okay, let's go. Let's do it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like all these numbers and price increases were hitting me. But I never imposed it on the customers. I just don't like to do that. And but now, I think the pricing is leveled off pretty much. I think it's gone to where it's going to be. So, you have to be able to curb your numbers to people's budget because they just didn't plan for X amount of dollars for their windows or their doors or, so you kind of like have to work through it.
Right.
Supply chain is gotten better.
Okay.
I sleep now much better than I did. And again, never ever been through that type of crisis before where, well, what do you mean I can't get material? Or what do you mean the windows didn't come in? Or it's March and I ordered them in September, and it was real. It was just all absolute real. It's gotten much better. I think people went to work. Lead times are 3 weeks or so to get material. Now you just have to worry about the delivery, receiving, shipping aspect of it where, okay, what's broken, damaged, or missing at the job site, and to figure out how to remedy it, replace it, whatever it is. But again, it's been 2.5 years now. I'm immune to it.
Yeah, it's been...
I wake up in the morning just like, okay, what are you going to throw at me today?
Right. I know. I can't believe it's been that long. Like we're going into 2023, which just, I feel like this year flew. But, we've all, like you said, we've almost become immune to, just the state of the world at the moment. But time keeps going by, and I'm happy to hear that at least it's leveling off a little bit and it's not, as extreme because, even utilities are just like I noticed are. You got the electric bill from having the air on, and it was like $400 for the.
Have you been to ShopRite lately? Oh my God!
Oh, I know. I know. It's just crazy. I made chicken pot pie this week, and I'm like, it cost me I think like $40 for all the ingredients. So it's it's impacted in every spot. So. But that's great that at least it's there's light at the end of the tunnel,
there
right?
is.
Yeah, and jobs aren't going to be as slowed down for you as I'm sure they had been over the last couple of years. What was that like during COVID? Were you just kind of shut down for a couple months? Never. Oh, you were outside, so that was good too.
I didn't care if they thought I was essential, non-essential.
Right.
It didn't matter. I think I was the only nut at 5:30 in the morning driving on Route 34 South, going to the office, preparing my day, getting the jobs done and whatever. No, I wasn't going to be stopped, and I had contracts with people.
Right.
People wanted their job, and yes, a lot of it was exteriors, except windows. You have to be inside somewhat. There were some people that wanted to reschedule. Most didn't. I mean, if their roof was leaking, they wanted their roof replaced,
Right.
or if they had a siding order out there, that's their money. That's their real money, and they wanted their job done. So I just kept moving.
Right. And the housing markets, at the same time really picked up. So people were home and they were saying, let's fix
That
this.
was the
Let's
best
do
thing,
that.
really, because
Right.
normally, usually, you have to go through this whole thing. Okay, when are you going to be home so we can schedule the windows? And usually, you know, one spouse works in the city or one does this and this, but everybody was just always home.
Right.
So it really worked out that way, other than the fact when they had to lose their Wi-Fi for just a little bit, when we were siding that side of the wall, it was like, oh my God, there's no Wi-Fi. And I'm like, it'll come back.
It'll be okay.
Give us an hour, and they
The
like
kids are
panic.
just, like,
Yes.
still
Well,
spinning.
you understand, my kid's on remote. I'm like, just give me 1 hour. We'll get
wow.
your Wi-Fi back.
Oh, that's so funny.
It
Have
is.
have you noticed that people are back to work now in person? Like where are they still working from home as much?
They are, or they'll say, Tanya, I go to the city twice a week
Twice
now.
a week, so it's more of like a hybrid.
So then I can easily curb the schedule around their time or they still have the leisure to say, okay, well, I'll work from home today. It's fine.
Right. That's
So
interesting.
yeah, that was definitely a plus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that your business is women owned and women run, right? There's all women in your office at the showroom in Colts Neck. What's that like working in the community as a female owned exterior remodeling business?
So if you don't know me or didn't know that a woman was coming out, you may think, okay, here's this woman who's going to talk to me about a roof, let's say, and when I get there, they realize I'm not there to sell window treatments, and I start talking and talking about everything on their roof, and they're just like, sometimes they look at me and they're like amazed,
Right.
So I love it when I come against a male homeowner who's like an architect or something like that, and then they want to sit there and drill you with all these questions. And I just blow them away, and they're like, wow.
And it's such a male dominated industry in particular. A lot of industries are, but I love that that it's.
But in the siding or windows, doors, estimates, most male customers, when I start talking, and they're like, oh, hold on, let me get my wife because she's going to love you, So,
oh, I love that.
So they welcome it. They
Yes.
welcome it for that part of it.
Uh-huh.
And roofing, yeah, it's like, it's all the same now. In the beginning, when I was younger, maybe, people would look at me a little strange.
Right.
But I think it's a lot more accepting now.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you know what you're talking about, right? You know exactly
do.
what you're doing. So
I do.
people can trust you, and you have a great reputation in the area. And I think, like you said, let me get my wife. I think there's, lots of women that just want to support and get behind, a woman-owned company, especially in our awesome community. So when you're not, well, I know you mentioned that you're nonstop, but when you do get a chance to get out in Monmouth County, what do you like to do? Any restaurants that you like in the area?
Yeah, like in the summertime, I like to go on the shore in Seabright to a few restaurants there, or been going a lot to the Highlands, actually. There's a lot of pretty restaurants there. Anything on the water is what I really like for the summertime. In the winter, basically just staying local,
Right.
Between Colts Neck, Marlborough, whatever restaurants are around.
Right.
I try to do errands, do a little shopping. Otherwise, that's, yeah.
Is there any beaches that you like? You said Seabright. Or you save that for the trips.
I save that really for the trips.
Yeah. I know it's hard on the weekend, right, to get to the
hard.
beach. Yeah. So
Because our downtime is, December, January, February.
Okay.
Yeah.
So unless you like to ski, well, not that you can
No.
ski in Monmouth County, but I'm not a skier either. I'll go tubing. That's it. We just booked a trip to my daughter. Instead of doing a party this year, I said, because the party is also the same thing. I've just gotten so crazy, expensive to have a kid's birthday party for 2 hours. I'm like, I'm not, you people can spend thousands of dollars on it. So I said, why
They're
don't we
like events
it's
now.
crazy.
They're not birthday parties.
So we're gonna go to one of those indoor water parks, but it's like also in a ski lodge. And I said, no, we're just gonna do the park. We're not gonna do any of the skiing. I don't know how to ski. I'm like, I think I've been once, and it was not a good day. Not very coordinated that way. I also would love to know. There's lots of women. Moms listening, and women-owned businesses that are also listening, and also a lot of moms who might have work full time, and then on the side are kind of building their own side hustle. You touched a little bit earlier on how you did roofing for 10 years, and after 10 years you said to yourself, well, oh, we don't do siding, or oh, we don't do this, and was that did you not do it because you didn't think to do it, or because you just didn't have you said to yourself, oh, why aren't we doing this? What was that light bulb that clicked that made you kind of get to the next level in the business?
Probably learning all the different aspects of the trades and how they really correlate to each other. And then the design is what really intrigued me as well.
Okay.
Look, all the at the time there was the dark colors coming out, the blues, the grays, and incorporating it with white trim and this and that, and stone was very popular too, and I was very intrigued by it.
Okay.
So, and I realized that people want to deal with one person for everything instead of 4 different contractors on their particular job.
Okay.
Right?
So it was
they
more
want
of a
they want
seamless
that
process.
one go-to type of person where they can reach out, and I do. I get text messages sometimes 11 o'clock at night. Tanya, look at the light fixtures I picked up. What do you think of them? And I'll say to them, they're okay. Why don't you go to Capital Lighting? They have those nice matte black sconces or whatever. And they're like, oh, okay, and they listen, and because they know that I've been doing this, and every single job that I complete, I stand back and I look and I think what I love about it and what I don't like about it.
Okay.
And they know that I'm very, very, very blunt too. When I'm at people's houses, I'll let them know, oh my God, that's ugly. That has to go, or something. And at first they're like, oh, I like her. And so they trust my opinion on a lot of things.
Okay. So it sounds like you kind of you became more confident in your trade and your skill set.
Yes.
So what would you say to moms and any women out there that are thinking about starting, not just particularly in your industry, but anything like that? Because I think it takes a big, it's a big leap of faith, and a lot of times it's a big risk, especially if you're, you already have an established family, or, you just have circumstances that maybe it might be a bigger risk than, someone that's younger and kind of can just go out and do whatever they want to do without as much, I guess, repercussions, right?
Well, it's definitely a risk. There's a risk in everything. And you have to put, 150% into it. It's a lot of hard work, and you have to go right to basics, and learn every single aspect of the business that you're creating or wanting to do. And once you push through that point, good old customer service, if you excel on that, it prevails.
Right.
And people see it, and people then do the talking for you. They really do. So it just takes a little bit of time to push through the growing pains,
right, yeah,
of the business.
That customer service aspect is so overlooked. I agree. My background is actually in sales, and it's it's very similar in a lot of ways. Running a business is just that you could be a good salesperson, right? And you can discuss how and why and where you're going to make their lives better, right? You're delivering some type of value of any kind when you're selling anything. People buy things that they feel value in, right? That they like, that they want to buy. It's an emotional experience. But once that is sold, there's some salespeople are notorious for having that that mindset and then don't really deliver, and or maybe the end product is not exactly what is promised. But if you are gaining trust in your customer base and you really care about making an impact in whatever you're doing, right? I think that goes.
I just did a lot of renovations on my own house.
Okay.
This spring, early summer, and I'll tell you, out of maybe 7-8 contractors that I hired to do work inside and outside of my house, I'd probably commend 2 of them.
Wow. Interesting. And did you know all of them, or?
Some I did, some I didn't.
Okay.
It's the ones that I didn't are the ones that actually did better.
They exceeded.
There were 2 that were just on point, no extra charges, did exactly what they said they were going to do, and maybe even a little bit over. I didn't have to babysit them. I didn't have to follow up on them, and then a couple other guys that I hired, it was like, wow. I was like, wow. So I really, really, it's interesting because I saw it in a different aspect where I was the customer now and how it looks or feels to a homeowner when the crew doesn't show up that day when I was told they were coming,
or the right time,
or the delay or something. So
What are
it was interesting.
The top? Not doesn't have to be 5, but what are the top points you would tell your customers or anyone when hiring a contractor? What are the things to remember or to look for?
Initial communication, consistent communication. So, when you call a contractor and they're not answering you, or they take 2 days, 3 days to get back to you, that's right there is the red flag, where it's I try to be like an on-demand person for people, and they like that, and people want that. They're paying your company X amount of dollars to deliver a job, so they're looking for a response. And so quick communication is number 1. Number 2 is contracts. I'm a nut about that, an absolute nut about that. If I'm doing siding, windows, doors, or something on your house, and I meet with you, great. But I'm not going to go forward on your job until we sit down in the showroom for an hour, 2 hours, however long it takes, that we go through every single line item and show you exactly what this looks like, what you can have, if you want to change it for this, all the different color, I'm really nuts about that, and that everything is black and white on the contract, and they understand it, I understand it, and so this way, when you have waited 3 months for the materials to come in and time has passed, you fall back on that and you follow it exactly, and there's never usually error on the job sites.
Yeah, so everything that was discussed is in the contract, and there's no surprises essentially.
But listen, homeowners, there's always changes.
Right.
They always they saw something, oh, Tanya, what do you think if we did this? Or you're doing the trim, and I love to specialize in AZAC PVC trim with surrounds and headers on the front of the house and columns and this and that, because I've always said, it's about the trim. It's not about the siding. And they're like, oh, geez, what if we do a little bit more over here? What if we this? And I'm like, okay, no problem. And I think they're like, well, how much extra? Don't worry about it. I'll do that. I don't nickel and dime people. I think that's really what I'm trying to say. I don't say, oh, that's an extra $200. Just, I have it there. Just do it, because you know what? In the end, the house shows better with even that much more detail, and they're happy.
Okay. What about deposits? What would be alarming if a contractor, what should be alarming to a consumer if a contractor came and said, we require 50% deposit up front for the entire job or something like that?
Well, you used to think, okay, that's alarming, but that's really the norm.
That's the norm. Okay.
Right now. It's very close to 50%
It's 50.
That you do need up front. We handle it in a different fashion where we don't take a deposit directly from the homeowner. We have them pay for the material orders
Okay.
that I would make on their siding or their windows once I come to measure them or something. And they pay it directly to the supplier because the supplier takes credit cards, and people love to pay by credit card, right?
Yeah,
they love
points.
the cash back, the rewards, the points. So, and there's no fee to it.
Right.
So, if people love the idea to pay the material portion, which is 40-50% of the job cost in a credit card, and then the balance they write a check to Majestic Exteriors when we're done.
Interesting.
So and that's just we've been doing this for years like that. And I guess in the beginning, and people, it was a way to tell people that I don't have your money. You have the supply house has the material and whatever, and so nobody can run away from you, and you can pay for it when it gets delivered, like all those sorts of things. So we just kept it that way, basically for the credit card aspect.
Okay.
People love to pay by credit card.
Oh, and that's nice too that you allow them, that
They love it.
that opportunity to, to gain some value out of the entire transaction too, which is nice. So what is ahead for you in 2023? Because we're coming up towards the end of the year now. What are your plans for the business going forward?
Well, keep moving as we are. New products.
Okay.
New products. So, and trends.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
I'm excited with different trends. So the trends are going all back to that light, soft color.
Interesting.
It is. The Pacific blue, the charcoal gray, the sable brown, these dark colors. The trends have been just going downwards, and people are going back to those original colors like herringbone or desert tan or clay, like those softer driftwood sort of tones. And what we're doing is we're accenting on metal roofing, gutters.
Okay.
Right? Like dark bronze gutters with herringbone, or, a front entry door with some nice stain to it, or, and it's interesting to see where those trends are really going. So that's what I get excited for.
Yeah.
And new products that I feel are going to emerge because there's, material manufacturers that couldn't make it through the storm as consumer confidence is a little low. And they're trying to reinvent certain products and give people a better alternative to the typical vinyl siding, let's say.
I see.
So
there's different options out
yeah.
there. The tin, is it a tin roof or a metal roof? Like
It's
the ones
metal.
that use, it's metal.
It's metal.
So they're very popular in the South. You see them everywhere. When we go to Georgia and South Carolina over the summer, many houses have them, but you do see them up here. My husband said that you can't have the entire roof metal because of it wouldn't warm the house correctly. Is that not the case?
That's not the case.
Okay.
It's expensive.
Oh, it's expensive.
It's very expensive.
I'll see partial, like you'll have to see like
So
the front.
partial, like on a little bay window bump out or a little shed roof on the front, it really just provides that accent
Okay.
in a matte black finish or terratone or dark bronze, or I've been doing even charcoal gray metal roofs, and it's like pretty. It's
so
pretty.
beautiful. I like the red too when I see the red.
The red, I've done a couple in Red Bank, and it was fun, and it worked with gray siding,
Right.
I love people that love color.
Yes.
Don't be afraid of color.
Right.
And colored gutters as well, like, a bronze or gray gutter, or I try to color match the downpipes so you can't see them in the siding. I mean, it just depends,
Okay. So all these new products, or some of the new products coming down the pipeline, will be available to check out at the showroom in Colts Neck.
They will.
And where can our listeners find you?
We're the Colts Neck Shopping Center.
Okay.
Same plaza as Becker's Hardware, just north of Delicious Orchards.
Right.
And we're there Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. Saturdays by appointment only.
Okay.
Many nights I stay late in the showroom if people want to meet with me. If I've provided them a proposal, Saturday, Sunday. But yeah, we've been there for a while.
And your website is?
MajesticExteriors.com.
MajesticExteriors.com. And on Instagram, it's Majestic Exteriors LLC.
It is.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much for
You're
joining
welcome.
me today. It was so interesting learning about all of the trends and everything that's happening in the exterior contracting world. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you
You for having me.
This week, just a little housekeeping. We have a lot happening this month. As I mentioned, we're preparing for the Monmouth Moms Halloween Spooktacular right here at Bellworks in Homedale, New Jersey. Registration is still open. It is free to attend, so come with your family and enjoy. We're going to have over 75 vendors, a whole kids activity zone, food, costume contests. Everyone will be, I'm sure, dressed up and giving out candy at the table. So
Sounds fun.
Great opportunity to not only come and enjoy a nice day with friends and family, but also get that extra use out of the Halloween costumes, which I love. When my son, just side note, when my son was little, there weren't as many Halloween activities and things to do, and you just kind of see the difference. My kids are 10 years apart, and how the world has changed so much. And now there's so many things to do, for the costumes, because it's nice. You buy the costume, they wear it once, and that's it.
True.
So yeah, get the costumes on. It's the day before Halloween, and we're excited to see you there. And then also lots of fall festivities happening at Eastmont Orchards this fall. Head there on the weekends. They have hay rides, photo ops, apple picking, pumpkin picking. You can get fresh vegetables and jams. We really love it there at Eastmont Orchards. Delicious Orchards also has lots of fall favorites in stock now. Get your apple cider donuts and your fresh produce, and enjoy a nice outing with the family. We all love Delicious Orchards in Colts Neck. There are also some pop-up events at Oak Hill Farms in Homedale. Check out their calendar each week to check out what's happening at the farm. You can go see the animals, grab a coffee, go see Carla, and pick up some nice items that she has in the shop. We love Oak Hill Farms. I think half my house is furnished from the decor is furnished from there. And Twin Pond Farm in Howell, also a great farm to head to right in Howell, New Jersey. You can do pumpkin picking. They have all kinds of activities for the kids this time of year. So check out our website. We have all of the information on there for that. And as always, make sure to check out our Fall Fun Guide, which is our 2022 updated guide. So if you wanted some ideas as to where to go pumpkin picking, where to check out local events, even activities for the older kids, there's lots of ideas and stuff to do in there. And then we're also working, I can't believe it, but I'm working on a Holiday Fun Guide. So that's going to be coming out soon too. Before we know it, we're going to be talking about where to get Christmas trees. So that'll be out in the coming weeks, actually. So it'll just fly by, right? So thanks, everyone, for joining today, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.